Like, this is what happens. This is
Say,
my thing. When someone's
my
like,
helmet.
I love to talk about doggies and how to groom them.
I wasn't expecting that. The way to make people believe me, throw stuff on there. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
that's what people think. 800 course
I can
idea,
help
800,
you with
800 lessons. I can help you in 725 different ways.
Extra bonus material.
40 hours of you watching me color on paper or something
Yeah,
like that.
clearly. Actually, not. We don't kind of get it. Like, we understand it. You could tell it to, like, your grandma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you have something. Hey guys, welcome back to the Digital Income Family Podcast. So today, Doug had the idea of basically talking about the worst online course ideas that we've seen or that
Yes.
we've heard of.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited about it because it's a chance to talk about, mistakes and ideas that people have and stuff that you can learn from. But then also we want to talk about what's in the good too. Because
and we've had horrible ideas as well.
Absolutely.
I think it's just like a learned skill. And I think a lot of people will be so hyped because they'll feel really passionate about something. But then when push comes to shove, it's, either oversaturated or they'll find that it's been, obviously done a million times over, or it's not really hitting with their audience and they just can't sell their online course. So we don't want that to be you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're going to go through the worst ideas and how to improve them.
Yeah, but before we jump into it, I actually have a little something for you guys. If you check out the description below, if you're on YouTube or listening somewhere, I've put together a brand new mini course for you guys. And this mini course is all about how you're able to monetize digital products. It's actually 100K in 12 months with digital products. It's a mini course, which means you get to go through, there's video lessons, you get to make an account. It's actually a really cool experience to be able to do if you've never even been in a course or bought one before. So go check it out. It's down in the description below, but let's go ahead and jump into it. So Haley, what happens when sometimes somebody will come to you, right? And they're like, it could be our neighbors, it could be literally anyone that comes around,
it's like always
our friends, like anyone.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's students, because we're working with students all the time, but people come to us and they're like, I have a really good idea.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
I always agree. Yeah. Like if it's usually like someone in it's obviously our students and stuff, but if it was someone in our own life, like at church or like, I don't know. Yeah. Like a neighbor or not a friend. I tell them straight up, but usually I'm obviously very encouraging. So are you. You're like, do it, because the idea that they have is good in theory, like fitness. Like they'll usually just categorize it into like a niche. They'll say, I really want to help people lose weight. And I'm like, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
But they think it's like something that's never been done into a course.
Yeah.
And so you have to what do you think? Like 20 different layers you got to go through.
Yeah, there's a lot that you have to do to like make a figment idea into an idea, but we're just stoked when people actually have an idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, because a lot of times the flip side of this, which we'll get into the good parts first, but the flip side too is that people will think that they don't have an idea or that they have nothing to offer too. So there's actually like two starting points to this. It's like sometimes people think they have really good ideas and it needs to be niched down, or we need to kind of cut into things, or at the same time people don't have ideas or they feel like they don't have anything to offer too, right?
That's
feel
the
like,
hardest thing.
Yeah, they feel like they have no expertise or they have no special skills or they don't have anything that's like that. So it becomes like at that point it's a challenge to try to pull things out of people too.
Yeah, it's almost like they are frozen in time because they cannot progress their business if they don't have this magical winning course idea that is unique to them and that no one's ever done before. Because once you start doing competitor research, which is something we always recommend, we find that 99% of our students and people that we help mentor, they, what do you think? They just get, paralyzed is the word.
Yeah, like analysis paralysis. They start
whoa, I can't do any of
much.
these.
I can't do any of these ideas.
There's
all
people
these things
better
look so
than
good.
me.
There's people better than me.
The price is lower that I found. Like I want to charge 1,000, but I find the courses on what are the Udemy for like $19.99,
like $7 for this. I thought I had a $4,000 course idea, and it's like $7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, we want to set you guys straight. If for any of you that might be thinking those thoughts, because the only reason I didn't think those thoughts when I created my first course teaching people on YouTube is because I saw other YouTubers doing it and I was a YouTuber. But for somebody that is not, they already have like this imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
They've never been on social and they feel like they can't do anything. Like all these other people have it better.
Yeah.
And so it's hard. That's like another layer.
Yeah, it definitely is. But we're going to kind of assume that you have an idea.
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna
Yeah, that would be a good another podcast if you have known what.
Yeah, if you have no idea what you're doing or no experience, you're like, I have nothing, blah blah. Okay, we'll get into that later. But today, let's say you have an idea, okay, and you're like, Doug, Haley, I'm gonna knock on your door and I want you to validate this for me. I want you to tell me, is
Hey,
this good or is this
This
bad?
reminds me when we did our first Amazon FBA business, we paid for a guy like on a webinar. It's
Oh,
like the
yeah,
first
for
$1,000 we ever spent for mentoring online.
Yeah.
Mentoring because it was like a course. But we were like, we paid for it and we won the
Mm-hmm.
raffle for him to validate our Amazon FBA idea, which is ridiculous.
Okay, it was.
Sorry, this is a podcast, so I can banter.
We need to side tangent this for a second because I remember specifically like learning about Amazon FBA, right? Like we were trying to find a way to get Haley to stop doing brand deals, and
This is an absolute
okay,
tangent,
yeah,
but I
super
can't.
tangent, but it's relevant.
Yeah.
So we were doing brand deals all the time and like putting Annabelle in content and stuff like that. And we were like, let's do something else. So we learned about Amazon FBA. Haley was like, hey, this guy has a webinar that's doing this. Like,
I was
we
like,
should
he's
go.
got
We should go
some
watch it.
training.
He's got some
I
training.
didn't
we
use the
could
word
do.
webinar.
Yeah, it was a webinar. It's like it's a training. He's gonna
Yeah.
tell us how we can do it. And I was like, what's this MLM
This
thing
is like
that's happening?
2017.
And that was a long time ago. And so we joined the webinar. Okay, and he jumps on. He's like, welcome to
Doug's
the
like
webinar.
12 out of 10 sus, like
Dude,
suspicious.
100 bajillion% suspicious.
After
about
you get home
everything.
from work, you're like,
I know. And so we're like sitting there. I swear you guys, this is relevant. 100% relevant
yeah,
to
yeah.
validation. Okay. And the reason we're so excited about this training is because in the beginning of the training, he's like, hey, at the end of this, like if you enroll or if you join, like during this call, you will get 3 products reviewed personally by us.
yes, because when you do Amazon FBA, whatever, this is a podcast. We can do what we
Yeah, we
want.
do what
We
we
can
want.
banter. When you do Amazon FBA, not online courses, you choose one product.
Yes.
And you hope that it's not going to be overtaken by a Chinese supplier. You hope that there's a supply and demand.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
that's good for
you
you.
hope that
so
it's validated. You hope that it's good. You hope there's demand.
that
you hope there's
people
good
want
price.
it.
Yes, that
Yeah.
people want it. And so the number one thing you could want
Ch-
from a mentor
Is choosing the product.
is getting
Yeah.
the product chosen for you. Yes. And so, I mean, not to make a long story longer, but we
Can't stop now.
we got on there and it was like,
You won the
purchase.
raffle.
No,
Did
I
everybody win
remember-
the raffle?
No, not
Oh.
everybody won the raffle. He called out the name, and I remember it because we're trying to put Annabelle to sleep or something at the
Yeah.
same time. And there was like 3 people that bought because you could see the little ding of people that bought, and we were one of 3 people. And
gotta
so
be
he was
rigged.
like, it was so weird because he was like, and so the winner is, and he's like, I think I'm saying this right, and I was like, oh, you can't butcher Haley, and he was like,
Yeah.
Haley Rod, and like he like couldn't
Yeah.
say your last name. And
My
so,
maiden name,
yeah,
yeah.
your maiden name, and so we freaked out and we won, and then we got our products validated, and which was really cool.
But you can validate your product. Okay, whatever. I digress. We don't recommend Amazon FBA for so many reasons. A lot of you guys still ask all the time, but like, no.
Yes, but
That's why we don't do it.
But the point to this
Yeah.
was we went extreme lengths to try to get our product validated.
Yeah.
And that's what people want with courses
we
too,
want
and
that.
we want that with
Yeah.
our ideas. Everybody wants validation.
That's
from
why you
someone.
pay for thing like
And
for
that's
mentor.
why you pay,
yeah.
yes. But we're throwing you guys a bone here, and we're gonna throw out some validation
Yes.
that's in here.
It never ends, no matter the business. Like, do I
Yes.
have something that our people are going to buy?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and really, we're going to talk about lack of validation first because I
Yeah.
like starting off on a funny foot here.
Mm-hmm.
Haley, can you tell me a little bit about? And you're like, what? What do you feel like is a red flag for like a course or a digital product idea or a business idea?
The number one red flag I would say is when people can't clearly define at an 8th grade level who they help and what they help.
Man, I love it. I love it. We should end podcast right there. Like we're done.
No, it needs to, like, this is what happens, and I promise I'm trying to be like
Listen, we're
you
being
know,
constructive.
soft, because I
and
don't
we are
always
being
come off that
soft.
way.
No.
But I'm just like super blunt, and I'll give it to you straight. All right, so a good example of this happens a lot. We've been doing like coaching calls for the last 3 years. Once it was twice a week, now it's like 2 times a week in a group setting. And so every so often we'll get a new student and they will explain to me their course idea, and it'll take them like 5 minutes, which is a lot of talking, or even like a minute. It should take like a second. I don't know.
It should be like less than an elevator pitch.
Yeah. Like, you don't want it to be so short, and we'll get into this, as like, I help people lose weight. Like, who the heck do you help and how do you do it? And like, what's your unique way of doing it? How can you even make it sound unique if it's not even unique? We'll get into that. But this is like the opposite. So I would say like the worst thing you could do is make it so confusing to where if you're like sitting at a dinner table with your friends and family, and our friends and family know nothing really of what we do. They can barely understand what a course is. Not because they aren't smart, just they literally aren't in the industry. Like they have no clue. It's like okay, video trainings, but it's so much more than that. It's like coaching and all this. So if you could explain it to your friends and family and they're like, oh, okay, we kind of get it. Like, we understand clearly. Actually, we don't kind of get it. Like, we understand it. You could tell it to like your grandma.
Yeah.
Then you have something. And honestly, it's hard for us still, like, because ours is a newer age
so
thing.
That's the difference.
So
is that,
sometimes you
like,
can't always get people to understand, but
Well,
people that understand the industry.
Yeah, it's not that you can't get people to understand. It's that like your outcome is not clearly defined.
Yes.
Like when you don't have a clearly
How
defined
you help
outcome,
them.
how you help them and what you help them with, that's what makes it hard. Like we help people to be able to launch, courses and coaching programs. Like
Yeah.
that's what we help people do. We help you leverage experience you already have. And
Yeah.
like you can get more specific and add things in. But if you're like, well, I help people to kind of like do this thing and kind of like, like,
Yeah.
if it's hard to define the outcome that people get,
Yes.
then that's what makes it tough. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's like very subjective, for instance.
Yeah. So, like, for example, someone could say, I help you pay off your debt. So they could say, I help single mothers pay off their student loan debt within a year by doing this. Okay.
Yeah.
That would be like a better offer.
Yeah.
Not perfect. 'Cause I just I'm obviously making it up on the fly, but then someone will spin it and they'll be like, okay, Haley, so I'm going to help women. They think just putting women or men on the front, or a mom, they think that's like good.
Mom.
They're like
Mom is
target
shopped,
audience,
like,
which
8
is,
times a day.
yeah, mom. We hear that a lot because of my audience. But, like they think that is helping to diversify themselves enough. But it's like that is really just put on there, I don't know, for looks. Like you could
Yeah.
help anybody really.
Yeah.
But they'll say, I help moms. I help them coupon clip. I help them budget at the grocery store. I'll even like they're willing to do everything. So they will do everything, but you actually can't be willing to do everything because then it looks like you're a jack of all trades and it looks like you don't specialize in one specific method. So something that's been an epiphany to us over the last 2 years, not epiphany, we learned it obviously through people, but smarter than us. But is that you need a special way of doing the same thing everybody else teaches.
Yeah.
And so this is gold, like this advice. It seems like obvious, but could you explain like what that means? So like as far as the example of I help moms pay off student loan
Yes.
debt.
So let's say it's paying off student loan debt. There's like a bajillion ways.
Oh
to be
my
able to pay
gosh,
off debt,
yeah.
Right? Okay. So
Selling things, hawking things on Facebook
Yes,
Marketplace.
yes. And so
someone will list like 25 ways. And I'm like, whoa.
correct. Yeah. And so you can't list 18 different ways of doing things because not everybody wants to learn all 18
But
ways.
also you're making it sound like it's harder than it is.
Yeah, definitely.
And they don't want to do all the work.
No,
They
don't.
want it- they
one
wanna be like,
simple way, one
yes.
simple thing. Yes, and they want it to sound appealing to them. And it can sound scary to you guys because sometimes you'll think like I need to cover 18 different ways because then I encompass more people and like I'll
Or
get
maybe
more
you
leads.
literally, yes.
Yeah.
Or maybe you literally are like, this is the way. You actually need 25 ways, but that's okay. You just need to lock it behind your core store.
Yeah.
Like what is it? You sell what they want and you give them what they need.
Yes, correct. Yes,
So we
you sell
don't
what they
lead
want.
with like a ton of mindset stuff.
No.
But that is in the program because how are you going to succeed in business if your mind's all messed up?
Yeah.
You
so
know?
so let's take like the bad idea, which is like I help moms to pay off debt. Okay. And you're like, what is that supposed to mean? You can say something that's like, I help moms to pay off debt by minimalizing their spending.
Yes. Because also
Okay.
that's trending.
What, minimalism?
Minimalism.
Yeah.
So it's always better to capitalize on a trend
Yeah.
if you can latch yourself onto something
we'll
that's
talk about it in a second, like
hype.
demand and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, but also minimalism that appeals to a certain type of person.
Yes.
So now you can niche down in a way that can help you grow faster because
Mm-hmm.
all of your content will cater to that one person. This is like social media tips and tricks, but still it's the same thing for courses because you need leads. Like, anyway, so yeah, go ahead.
So,
By
but-
minimalism.
But the thing is that like minimalism can mean different things to different people. So you don't have to clearly define what that is. If minimalism to you is like you need to shop less, you need to get groceries, meal prep and like
Yeah.
cut down on the groceries that you spend. You don't eat out. And then you budget. Like if you can hide all that behind minimalism, which is what Haley was saying, like you lock it behind one key term
not confuse
to not
people
confuse
in your
people, then
marketing.
it's fine. But
Yeah.
in your marketing, if you go up to somebody and you're like, oh, I help people pay off debt, and they're like, how? And it's like, well, I help them pay off debt through like shopping, coupon clipping, minimalism, selling things on Facebook
Yes.
Marketplace, selling things on Craigslist, and then like you list out all these things. There's like the transformation becomes muddled.
Yeah.
Right. And so the transformation needs to be very clear. And so the bad ideas don't have a clear transformation
Yes.
and one clear path.
Yes.
Okay. But the good ideas have a clear transformation and one clear path.
Yes. And I think a lot of people will have exactly what Doug is, the opposite of what you're saying. You know, they'll have, I teach people this is a good idea. And we've had a student that is wildly successful teaching people how to, pay off their debt or, build a savings account and basically get in a better financial place through minimalism. We have a couple students that do that. But that's my point. We have a couple students. There's a lot of people that do that. And so you might do your due diligence research and you might see that there are a lot of people doing that.
Yes.
That shouldn't stop you because that's like
No.
another huge thing.
Yeah.
So then you'll be like, okay, this person's already doing that. They're already doing it through minimalism. So I need to add a bunch of other stuff on there. No,
not at all.
this is where your content needs to stand and speak for itself.
Yeah, and that's a whole other thing too. Is that?
But I had to throw that in there because they will say,
Yeah,
well,
you
I
do.
found that, you know.
Yeah, so you need your content basically to be able to help your personality stand out, because minimalism to one person might mean one thing to them, but another thing to you. And so when you talk the way you emphasize certain things in minimalism or whatever it may be, if it's like budgeting or things like that, like some people might say, you know, I help women or I help moms to be able to get out of debt in 60 days or less through spreadsheets.
Yeah.
And like, or budgeting. And so some people do budgeting on paper, some people do budgeting on spreadsheets.
Yeah.
And so that's a clear difference too when coming up with your ideas, which is why we say like, you have to solve a specific problem for a specific person in a specific way.
Yeah. And
Like,
the way
yeah.
cannot, this is another huge thing that you did touch on, but so important, you guys. The way that you help them, you should boldly proclaim that this is the best and the most efficient way. Everybody else teaches you, you know, because you don't want to be vanilla. You have to stand for something and stand against something else to show that you are authentic. This is why we preach. We don't like ebooks, you know, we don't like low ticket courses. We don't like things that you just hawk on, you know, like planners and stuff like that. Or, I mean, nothing's wrong with that. Like you can still sell those things, but it should be an intro to your bigger product, to
Absolutely.
your funnel.
Yeah. It should
so there's a
not be
whole
the
strategy.
linchpin to your like money making strategy.
No. And so
Yeah.
we boldly proclaim like, that is not the way
is
that
not
we help
the
you.
way.
That's
Yeah.
not the system. Yeah.
Yeah,
And so you guys have to really, because a lot of people are scared to offend, not even offend. They're scared to push away potential leads or potential followers by latching on to a belief, like, you know,
Yeah.
and really boldly proclaiming that. But
Yeah.
that is what's going to get you sales because you are authentic now.
Yeah.
You
Definitely.
know, and you're also not seen, like I said, as a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
You're really knowledgeable in that one way that you do it, you know?
Yep, definitely. So let's shift a little bit, because we are talking about like the, you know, the idea and, you know, being too confusing with those kinds of things. Confusion can also happen when you're vague.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
And
Because
so
this was like trying to be,
being vague-
this is the opposite. This was
yeah,
like trying to be
being
too
too
specific.
specific and too many things and too many ways and too confusing, right? But now we have too vague as one of the other big red flags that people have. Okay. And so it's like, I have to tread carefully here, right? But when you say things like, and I'm just going to make some blankets, weird, you know, ideas that are here. I'm not
Yeah,
saying
course
anybody has
ideas,
these
yeah.
ideas. Course ideas, right? Like, you know, I help dads feel fulfilled. Or
Yeah.
like, I help dads with mindset. You know, have a better mindset. It's like,
You're
It-
onto something.
you're going
Usually
in the right direction.
Usually it's moms. I help moms
I'm
with
saying
their
dads because I'm a
mindset.
dad.
I
but-
know, but he got the idea because we've had a lot of people say, I want to do mom mindset. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't, but that's just the beginning. Like, I want to
Th-
help
that
moms,
that is like
you know.
the microscopic tip of an
Get
ice.
it all
You're,
done,
you're like, oh, look
you
at
know?
that ice cube in
Yeah,
the
do
water
everything.
that's over there. But
Yeah.
below it is like a 5,000 ton iceberg of additional stuff you need to build on top of that
Yeah.
idea. Right? Like, so being vague, or it's a very like open-ended subjective transformation that can happen. Okay. You know, like feeling better.
Yeah.
Feeling something where it's like it's people can't clearly grasp what's going to happen, right? So yeah, being vague with like how you're going to help them with mindset or what that is, it's rough. So what you need to do is you need to add on ways that you help with their mindset.
Yes.
Okay, so like I help moms have a better mindset through daily planning or something like that, right? Or I help moms feel more accomplished through journaling. Something
yeah,
like
something
that.
specific.
Something specific.
And
because,
again,
yes.
super important because you always have to relate to it. Like, how can I get leads? Like, how can I go viral and how can I grow my audience? Because you could have a winning course idea, but if the way that you help them, nobody searches for that,
Yes.
then just forget it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
care how much you like it. You got to do ads then. And we
Yeah.
aren't a big,
Yeah,
you know,
if there's
we don't
no
recommend
there's
it
no demand
for the way
for
that
the
you
way
do
that
it.
you're doing it, then that's rough.
So, like,
you
for
know?
instance, back to the spreadsheet thing, nobody wants to do spreadsheets on
Yeah.
Excel.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
rough.
some people do, but
I mean, I
it'll
like
be
them,
hard
but-
to get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. But like most people that are moms, if it was a mom type of thing, you just know,
Yes.
even though I do it this way, it's best that I learn a way that is very popularized.
Yes, and
Because
also
you want to make it easy to get paid.
You do. You
and
want to make
found.
you want to make it easy to get paid and found, but you also want to do it in a way that is different than what most people have probably tried.
Yes, that's important.
Yeah, because most people have done spreadsheets, and so
Yes.
most people know spreadsheets, and they know spreadsheets are boring.
Too complicated.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
too complicated. It's too much to do. Not everybody likes numbers, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's easier to do something complete opposite, like envelope method or whatever
Yeah,
people
yeah.
might be
Yeah,
doing.
yeah.
You know, but it's the same no matter what type of topic you try to place yourself into. So if it is like mom mindset or
Yeah.
dad entrepreneurs or something
Or
like that,
it's usually like I teach moms or men. They don't know. No
We're
one
just
ever
throwing-
says dads. Actually, it's so rare. I follow like
Yeah.
a couple dads account, and there's like Save Your Sons. I highly recommend. Love it.
Uh-huh.
That's very controversial, I think.
It is.
Nowadays, stupid, but highly recommend. But I love it because it's for dads and it's like so rare. But it's always for moms. So like a good one as an example is like we've had a lot of people say to us, well, I want to teach moms how to make money online. I'm like, hey, how do you do it? But since they don't do it full time, and that is the best way that they can start. I'm not saying you have to do something full time in order to teach it, because you can teach beginners how to get started. But they'll say, okay, well, I've done MLM. Well, MLM, I shouldn't say that. Network marketing. I have no shade against network marketing, but network marketing. I could teach them how to grow an Instagram account because I got like, I don't know, 5,000 followers. I've been doing that for a couple years. What else? Typical ways moms make money online. Oh, like I could teach people to sell things in their house.
Yeah, sell things. Just
Flip
Facebook
things
Marketplace,
through thrift stores.
Yep,
I'm like, you need to pick one.
yeah.
But they're like, yeah, but, and this is what happens every time. Well, yeah, but I'm not doing this full time. Like, how could I just pick one? I'm not that good. I'm like, well, it's better to get better at that and teach it and increase the price as you actually get better and do this as a full-time thing or whatever, become more experienced than not get any sales and not grow because you're confusing people. Because like Tuesday, you talk about thrifting and flipping.
Yep.
Wednesday, you're talking about network marketing.
Yeah. So what happens
I would
with
say
that?
that's worse than being vague.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, they're both pretty bad. But
Yeah.
the thing is that like the problem is that when you start picking a bunch of different things like that and you start doing that, the core problem behind that is because you feel like
Imposter.
Yeah. And so when people feel imposter about their topic, they feel like the way to make people believe me, throw stuff on there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what people think. 800 course
I can
idea,
help
800,
you with
800 lessons. I can help you in 725 different ways.
Extra bonus material.
40 hours of you watching me color on paper or something.
Yeah, I
like
don't
just
know.
all the random stuff,
Yeah.
right, that people throw in there because they think that's value.
But like, you don't only just get the course, you get this, or someone knows that they feel that they're an imposter. That is their identity. So then what happens also is they will stack stuff like this if it is a course, but they'll also say, okay, so I'll teach you all these ways to make money as a mom, and then I'll do one-to-one coaching with you. Like as if that's going to help make their offer better.
So yeah, we don't want to get too much into offer making. We're still on the topic of ideas.
It's kind of the same
here.
thing for me, but yeah.
It is. We're getting there. But the thing is that the way you solve that is, one, you have to train yourself to know that you don't need to have 800 different things to be an expert on something, right? If a mom comes to you, we're just going to stick with the mom topic. I'm not saying it's moms. But if a mom came to Haley and was like, teach me how to make money online, I don't know how to do it. And you're like, okay, awesome. Have you ever sold things on have you ever like flipped stuff in your house on Facebook Marketplace? And they're like, no. And you're like, perfect, I'll show you how to do that. Even if you're making $500 a month doing that, it's more dollars than what the mom that doesn't know anything is making.
Yeah, totally.
Right? And so, then
so
it's
you have that
okay. So
imposter, but like people don't even know how to
people don't
get
know
started.
how to even get started. People don't know how to log on a Facebook Marketplace to sell anything. They don't know how to list anything.
It's just that you in your head, you know of all these top dogs in all of these different categories. You're like, well, I'm not them. But again, you can't compare yourself to that. You have to compare yourself, if you are at near beginner level, to like a person that's not even a beginner. They don't even know what the heck the industry is about or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, so I would say those are some of the biggest red flags that we have. People are too vague with their idea, and they don't have an idea fleshed out or anything, right? Or people can't explain their idea because it's too complicated and too confusing. Okay, but there are other things that people need to think about when it comes to picking a good course idea or good coaching program idea or good informational product idea, right? So one of those things is that they need to pick an idea that matches their goals and their lifestyle.
Yeah, this is so huge.
Okay, like
people don't talk about this.
Yeah, so this is like the hidden secrets of making money through
I would say
digital products,
sanity
right?
and happiness.
Yeah, sanity and happiness too, right? Because here's the thing. When you pick your idea, there are ways that you have to use that idea to make money. Okay, so you have to basically choose one of two paths. You're either going to be like an influencer style topic, where you're always posting on social media and you have to be kind of like an influencer to get lots of people for your topic that's there because your topic might be low price or something. Or you're not like an influencer. You're not posting all the time as a lifestyle, but maybe you're running it more like a business and you're doing more coaching on things or stuff like that. So when you pick your idea, right, Haley, like you have to choose, my topic has to line up with what level of sanity I want.
Yes, this is like, oh my gosh, life changing. I know, I'm tooting our own horns, but it's more of just like life changing for me because we've gone through the ringer with learning this as a family, trying to homeschool over the last however many years I've been doing social media full time, and then doing it with me. It's like if I had known that what I was signing up for when choosing a course topic, it's not so much the question like, do I have a good topic? It's like, do I have a good topic that will sell? Yes, is very important, but is it going to sell in the way that I want to get sales?
Exactly.
Like the best thing you could ever ask yourself if you were wise with not that we're wise, but we're wise in the fact that we've lived a lot of years in online business.
Yeah.
And the biggest revelation we've ever learned through hardship is, how do I even explain? It's like how you make your money is more important than making the money because it dictates your happiness, how much freedom you have with your family. What else?
Yep. And so, then it dictates your time and it also
how fast
dictates
you grow.
how fast you grow. And it also dictates what you do as like work.
Yeah. And it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Because we used to always pick the best course idea that's the most lucrative, right? Because it's like, when you go into business, you want to be like logical. You want to do everything with facts and numbers behind
Huge
it because you are
ROI.
taking risks on your family and you're investing money that maybe you don't have, like we have before. And so you're like, I'm not going to choose what's the happiest path, which I should have. But I didn't know.
No,
like hindsight's
we're gonna
2020.
sacrifice, right? Because you got to sacrifice.
Yeah, you have to sacrifice and you got to do the most lucrative thing. So can you explain like,
So
I would say it's a difference between like marketing, like how hard do you want to market and spend your time doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, to try to summarize this point, which is obviously a point that hits home for us quite a bit, is that you might pick a topic, okay, that requires mass audience,
mass volume,
okay, because
lots
lower
of page
price,
views,
lots of page views, lots of explanation, lots of followers, lots of content, lots
and
of
can you
hyping.
explain again, like really hit it, like because it's not worth a lot in people's eyes as far as value?
Yes. And so
give an example, maybe.
So this is kind of how it works. If you have a topic that the defined outcome, the transformation is not clear, or it's clear but it just their return on investment is not that big.
So like I'll help you organize your home.
Yes. I mean, we'll try to make this super clear. Okay. It's like, I'm going to teach you how to watercolor, for instance.
Yeah.
Right?
And there's nothing wrong with these.
No, there's
lucrative.
Watercoloring is totally fine.
It's
One of the
different
top people
lifestyles.
that sells on Teachable does watercoloring, right? And she teaches you how to do watercolor. One of our students teaches gouache, which is a funny gouache painting, which is a way of doing it, right? The thing is that because it's a lower price and people pay lower price because what can I do with really painting other than like feel good that I painted, feel good that I accomplished something? I'm not going to turn into like an art studio. I'm not going to turn into some artist to make a living off of painting. If it's a one-on-one class, then you need mass volume in order to hit big numbers.
Yes.
Right. So in order
there
to
are
do that,
some art people that charge an arm and a leg to teach you because they're that good.
Yes.
But again, you have to evaluate yourself and your own level of experience.
Correct. Yes. So,
but also even those people need a massive audience to attract the people that are willing to spend $3,000 with them.
Yes.
Anyways,
and because it's such a broad thing, like just painting.
Yeah.
Right. Painting is such a broad thing. So instead of being more like business savvy with it, you have to be more like, how do I just get lots of people in front of, like eyeballs in front of my stuff savvy? So you end up posting yourself painting all the time. You end up, talking about all the different painting stuff that you can. And the lifestyle becomes more influencer based.
Yes.
And then you having to just drive page views to a passive course.
Yes.
Right. To just the sales
and
page.
so to be more specific too, I know it's obvious. Well, influencer based means you're on Instagram and doing reels and YouTube videos. People don't know what they're signing up for. I did not. Doug knows because he saw me and he's, starting his own thing now. But he definitely knows. But most people don't. And they're like, oh, I can post reels every day. But it's not so much that. It's like you have to have mass volume again. So you need to just not post a reel a day. If it's not growing you fast enough, it's going to take years.
Yep.
And even once you have a big audience, you might just make 100 to 200 grand. Like there's a ceiling.
You need to keep going and keep going and keep going. Now, on the flip side of that, if you were to pick a topic that is a higher return on investment, Okay, it's for a more specific person. It is something that is not, I don't want to say like surface level, but it isn't a surface level. It solves a very specific problem for a very specific person. Then what you end up doing is you can price it higher, and you focus less on the going viral aspect.
Yes.
You focus less on the views. You focus less on the social media, and you focus more on the like personal connections that you can build with people.
Yes.
And you focus more on results and DMing and talking to people and potentially even coaching. And I hate to bring
in
up
the
coaching
beginning, not forever. Yeah.
Yeah, because some people get scared whenever I say the word coaching, they turn off a podcast.
Yeah, or
like
whatever.
that, you know?
But
Yeah.
really, like, as a side note, I do have to put this in here because people just don't know, and I didn't either, that when we say, just because you do something that's not low ticket, when we say low ticket, it's like $97, $197, like his watercolor painting. The flip side is what he's talking about, or a lot of, right? But a lot of you guys might automatically go to the place in your mind where like, oh, they want us to do one-to-one coaching. That's what he's talking about. No. So we're saying that you could, that could be one of the ways, but what you guys probably don't know, and like I said, I didn't, is you can outsource the one-to-one aspect of your program through coaches that you hire. So this is where you start to be like, whoa, that's a business. Okay. So like I teach women how to lose weight postpartum by whatever your special method is. You know, you can sell that as a low ticket course for $97, whatever, $9.97. I don't care. It's like, you're not going to make a ton, or you can turn it into now this isn't a marketing machine that you're creating an online business, which they both are businesses, but this is more of a, like, let's get people real results and word of mouth marketing. And our business is built on this now. We've done both. Okay. So I've gone viral for years. And it's headless chicken rat race. You can't be present
The
parent.
hamster wheel.
And Doug's starting to do it because you still need to get started.
Yeah.
But also on the flip side, what he's saying is a real, you know, a really
business.
profitable business in a really short time span. And so, yes, you might have to bite the bullet and do the coaching, but I do want you guys to know that you can eventually have coaches that do this for you and it become more passive.
Yeah. The idea is that
I don't want you to think that all you do is tack on one-to-one coaching.
No, that's not the answer. But sometimes involvement with you is what's required to get like a certain return on investment that people would pay for.
Yeah, especially if you don't have the experience.
Yes, to an extent, to a certain point. But what we're trying to get at here is that depending upon how you want to live your life, do you want to live in a more business-oriented lifestyle where you're a little bit more intentional with people, or maybe you manage people instead? Like, do I manage a team that coaches people?
Or do I manage social media?
Or do I manage social media?
But also food
Food for thought?
Yeah, food for thought. Oh my gosh. I think it's pregnancy brain, like straight up. I forget.
She's like, food to eat? And I'm like, no.
I can't. I have no idea all the mistakes I'm making lately. Okay, so food for thought, though. What am I even saying? With the second idea that we're now talking about, like the legit, they're both legit businesses. You can both make 7 figures plus. Yeah. With the second example, what we're saying is it can be extremely profitable really, really fast. So you can make 7 figures in a year. Yeah. Whereas the first one, you need to be having 1 million followers. You need to be posting all the time, 24/7. You know, you can't be like, I want to be a present homeschool mom and still make $1 million. It's nearly impossible. I've never seen anyone do it because you're not, you know. Yeah. It's just hard.
It's hard to blow up like that so quickly and be able to hit
numbers.
It's a
unicorn
thing.
And
hit numbers at such a rapid rate.
Yeah.
You know?
And so, yes, the second one is more scary. You have to face your imposter syndrome to make gobs of money like we're talking about. Because you can. It's possible, but you need to face yourself in the mirror and say, I lack these skills and I'm going to go learn these skills. Yeah. You know, because it probably does require you to learn skills that you don't have.
It does. But it could potentially.
But maybe you're good. Yeah.
Maybe
you're really good.
Maybe you're into
Some people are. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So we're going to stop yelling at you guys at this point. No, I'm just kidding.
I didn't think so.
Okay. So I want to touch on this before we wrap up this podcast, but I do want to touch on this when you're picking a topic.
Yes.
Right. Haley and I have talked about this a lot. There's actually an entire whole other podcast about it. But when people are going through and they have what they think is a good idea or a bad idea, a lot of people think a good idea has to be something that they're passionate about.
Oh, yeah. Well, we did a whole thing, passion versus profit.
Yes. So when people come to you, what do you feel like as a coach, you know, when somebody's super hyped on something and they come to you and they're passionate about it, but it's not like a good idea?
Well, how bad do you want the money? Because you can, listen, Doug knows, look at my background. We're not going to even address it. My background. Doug's taking over the podcast, so this looks like, I don't even know. Like, you can't see what's behind me. okay, I'm on a tangent, but it's very masculine. There's a lot of hobbyist stuff. Okay, he's got like you can't see, but it's like Japan in the Rain. He's had that on there for
On my
years.
desk. On
Yeah,
my desktop. Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a Japanese. He's a hobbyist. Okay,
Yeah.
this is my point here. This makes sense.
Okay.
There's a Japanese skyline. Like, what is this thing called?
Desk mat.
He's all about
I
the
actually
desk
took
setup.
that picture on our.
Okay, I'm
honeymoon.
looking at a stack of 4 wheels. Is this wheels or tires?
What? They're both. It's wheels and
Wheels
tires.
and tires. Like my leg could touch them. What else is behind me? I don't even know what's behind me.
Okay, I got
racing
keyboards.
stuff?
I got a racing simulator,
Okay, so this
VR
is,
headset.
This is my thing. When someone's
my
like,
helmet.
I love to talk about doggies and how to groom them.
I wasn't expecting it.
Usually I say llama grooming. Anyways. Shush. I can't with it. Okay. Well, I like to talk about grooming dogs. And I'm like, okay, you could be so good. I've met some. I'm not laughing at dog grooming. It could be sweet. Didn't you talk to a lady? She like made a ton of money like grooming dogs. Or,
No.
Oh,
We have
breeding
a
dogs.
student that breeds dogs.
Oh
They
no! Now
breed-
I'm gonna.
Yeah, I know. She's gonna be like, really, Haley?
She's not watching. Okay. Anyways, so you could have something that not a lot of people would pay much for.
Yes.
You know, they might pay $100. And I'm like, well, and they're like, I really want to do this, but also I lost my job and I'm gonna like be on the street. I'm like,
Yeah.
listen, like I get it, and this hasn't necessarily happened. Maybe, I don't know. A lot of things happen to us, but like with Doug's hobbies, okay, he's a hobbyist, so he's the first person to tell you that you don't have money for your hobbies. You can't do your passion, your true passion.
Nope.
And doing your true passion, you can. I don't have this. I don't have what he has, like the hobbyist, I don't know, kind of personality.
Yeah.
I like just business and like being with my kids. But you don't have money for your hobbies if you're not making money.
Yeah. So
and
there's-
is posting about your passion, doing your passion? Lots of Gen Zers would say no.
I know. Well, you
They
gotta-
do.
you
They
gotta throw
love.
them out
They
there.
love to say that. Do not make us monetize our hobby, our
Okay,
passion.
You should monetize your passion.
It just
Okay, you
depends.
should
If it's
totally
a
do
good
it.
one, then do it.
Here's
but,
the thing. Okay, there's a difference
But
between.
you wouldn't have this money for all the things that you love.
if
like,
I didn't do hard work doing something else.
Yeah.
Yes, I know, absolutely.
so you can have both.
Yes,
but you
you
need
can.
to have the
But-
delayed gratification.
You do need to have delayed gratification, but here's another point that people miss. Okay, there's a true difference between hobbies and passions. Okay,
No, I don't even know what this is.
absolute difference that there's there. Okay, like you guys can't see it, but I'm pointing at like keyboards that are here that I have that I've built keyboards. That's a hobby that I have.
Now we're getting a
because I
lesson.
like that. You know, a passion is when like
Yeah.
you eat, sleep, drink.
that's true.
Dream.
You're not doing that with keyboards.
You're wildly, massively obsessed with things.
This is
Like you find
Yes.
people on the street and you're like, "Yo, do you know about these keyboards?" But
You're not
but
like that.
Then no, I'm not
Doug's
like that
with
those kind of
racing
things.
and
With
cars.
racing and cars, yes, I am like that. And so you have to think to yourself, if you are going to monetize a passion, one, yes, like does it allow like are your kids going to go starving? Then don't do that thing. Like don't
or
go,
just
don't
like
go
do
that
it
thing,
later.
right?
Do it later. You
Yes.
can have both
Yes.
one day soon.
If your kids are starving, don't do whatever you're passionate about. Do what's going to
and
be
they
most
don't have to be
profitable, right?
starving, okay?
I know,
But like,
I know.
you know, you have to be like, you know,
You got to be in a pretty decent
my
spot.
mom would say shit up a creek. That's what the phrase is coming to mind.
Yes.
And we've been in those.
Yes,
shitty
we
creeks.
have. Yeah,
Yeah.
they've been there. Okay, but this is the thing: is that like, if you have a true passion, and I'm gonna we'll blame the Gen Zers here. We'll put them back in the spotlight. If it is a true passion, you will never lose passion for it. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
can talk about it, and you can do those things, and you can
If
use
it's
that as your
lucrative-
point if it's a good idea.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I
Yes,
hope he's
if it makes money, and that is
Yeah.
at the end of the day. So we have people that come to us, and they're like, I am so passionate. I love this, and I love this, and I love this, and we always come back to like, okay, how much money do you need? How much and how
they're
quickly
like,
do you need to
50
make it? And they're like,
grand.
I need $10,000 tomorrow, and I'm like, you cannot talk about cat stickers. Like, I'm so sorry, but you can't do it. Okay, and it's like it's better than doggies. Okay, it's a better example
I don't
than
know why I
doggies.
said that.
But that is one thing that you guys have to think about. Okay, there's a whole other podcast. You could check it out on the Digital Income Family Podcast.
Which one?
On YouTube, and you could check it out on Spotify and Apple
Oh,
Podcasts.
passion
They're there.
versus niche.
Yes, our passion,
Or
passion
profit.
versus profit
Yeah.
podcast. You can go check that out and go check out all the other episodes while you're there.
Yes.
And while you're there, you can leave us reviews too on Apple
Oh my
Podcasts, doing lots
gosh.
of other things.
Can't
But
with
I
it.
feel like this should have led you guys in some way to understand the difference between like a good idea and a bad idea.
Yes.
And if anything, we just shit on bad ideas. So,
And honestly, we should do a podcast on how to create an offer, because you have to have a good idea.
oh man.
Based off of how much money you want to make and
Yeah.
the lifestyle you want to live, to huge things. How much
Yes.
money you want to make. Is
Yeah.
it possible with going viral? These are
Mm-hmm.
the lifestyles too. Going viral, needing those views all the time, or are you willing to face yourself in the mirror, get better at the things
Yep.
that you lack, and build a legit business that requires humans, not
Yes.
just an iPhone.
Yes. Yeah.
So
yeah.
so we'll do that offer podcast.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty into that. If you guys want that, let us know. You know, you could put a comment down in YouTube if you guys are watching on YouTube, or you could DM us or something like that too. Let us know what else you want to be able to hear when it comes to the course creation stuff. Haley, you got any closing thoughts on this one?
No, it's just like there's the idea and there's the offer, and so we needed to give them that.
Okay, we'll jump into that on the next one. But for now, that's it. Thanks so much, guys, for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.